Wagwan people. Welcome back to Afriq 24. Karibuni tena sana na sana. If you're joining us for the very first time, karibu sana to Afriq 24. And this is Dimba Labara Africa, whereby we discuss football matters across the country, across the continent, and outside the continent, across the globe, the whole universe. What unites us here in Africa is football matters. And if you're joining for the very first time, consider subscribing to Afriq 24 so that we can grow and build this platform. If you're a returning subscriber for our platform, thank you so much. This is the place to be, and I assure you, your subscription is worth it. Your subscription haitaenda bure, and thank you for 1,600 subscribers on YouTube. Tunawashukuru sana. It's a journey kufika hadi hapo, from where we started in 2023, and mali tumefika ni uwezo wake Mwenyezi Mungu, so we give God the glory, we give God the honor. 1,600 subscribers, it might look very small, but for somebody like me it's good numbers, uh, because it's not easy to reach here, and we give God the glory and the honor. So we are pushing for 2,000 subscribers, so you ukisubscribe hapo we will appreciate sana, and the good thing is subscribing at Afriq 24 is free of charge. Press to your subscribing here in Afriq is free of charge, so consider subscribing to us here at Afriq 24 so that we can grow and build the platform. Otherwise, I'm very grateful to everybody, and as we start the show tonight hapo, yesterday we had Carabao Cup matches ongoing, and yesterday hapo tumeona there were games that were played hapo. Chelsea got a 4-3 win away versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Jamie Bino Gittens masterclass. We saw also Arsenal got a 2-0 win against Brighton, courtesy of Ethan Waneri and Bukayo Saka. Also saw Liverpool facing big challenges in their quest for a resurgence. They suffered 3-0 loss, and this guy Ismail Assar is a thorn for Liverpool. Whenever he plays against them, he turns up and puts them in a spliff. And also tuliona Newcastle beat Spurs, and it seems like the St James's Park is a difficult ground to go to, and Spurs went there, they lost, and for year in year out Spurs wamekuwa wakipoteza away matches when they playing St James's Park, and Thomas Frank is still yet to break that cycle that has been ongoing for Newcastle, and so many things zimefanyika hapo apart from the Carabao Cup matches hapo. We also have the basketball games there on my lower third. Sita asema sana, you can read the scrolling text hapo chini about the basketball games that are happening. And the good thing also is that our women, the Harambee Starlets, have qualified for the WAFCON 2026 that is set to happen in Morocco. Shout out to them for getting the for getting the wins. Shout out to our Africa. Shout out to our ladies, and it's a good gesture I'm seeing from them. And shout out to also the coach hapo, Odemba. Demba anafanya poa hapo. We have a very good squad hapo ya madem that is doing pretty much well. So shout out to them for getting the win, because they were able to book their place in the 2026 after a 1-0 win over Gambia yenye ilifanyika in the return leg qualification, which was played at the Stade Lat Dio TS in Senegal. So your result, it was able to seal a 4-1 aggregate victory, which sends Kenya to the continental stage. And the funny thing is that it's happening for the very first time in 9 years. For the first time in 9 years, the Harambee Starlets are qualifying for the WAFCON that is set to happen in 2026, and the stage for the WAFCON is Morocco. So shout out to the Starlets for qualifying, it's a good thing, and I think sometimes the women's sports imekuwa much underestimated, not just in Africa but also outside Africa, and yani it's not being watched that much. Yani ijapatiwa a lot of airtime. I don't know whether it's the marketing or it's just us in general tumeamua kuunderestimate women's sports. But if I compare the Harambee Starlets and the Harambee Stars, if we are to speak objectively, utapata the Harambee Starlets are doing better than the Harambee Stars, despite us seeing the president kuweka the handouts hapo in the Chan tournament, the millions hapo. We can also say the Harambee Starlets pia wanafanya poa to represent. So for them to qualify for the AFCON for the first time in 9 years, uh, it's a plus for us, and very happy kusikia kitu kama hiyo, and I'd hope and want for them to go on and to continue doing well hapo in the AFCON, because if they do well watakuwa wanatu represent venye inafaa, and we shall be here to support them. Hapa ni Dimba Afriq, hapa we discuss sports yenye inafanyika all across area, because football is the game yenye inatu unite. So for me, very happy. We'll be there to support them each and every game hapa. We will be here to analyze the AFCON and the AFCON 2026 that is set to happen. So for the girls, happy for them kuona wame qualify hapo. It has been a journey of patience and purpose. They have done well in the group. Uh, Mwanalima Adam, shout out to Mwanalima Adam, who is I think is a brilliant player. Mwanalima Adam to me is a baller, somebody mwenye anafaa kuwa anacheza something like the EPL or even the French league, teams like Lyonnais ya Madem Nikali, or even Chelsea or even Barcelona. Mwanalima Adam, to me, Mwanalima ni one of the standout performers mwenye anatu represent vizuri. So shout out to her and shout out to the team for beating Gambia. Kwa hiyo it's a good aggregate, hiyo 4-1, it's a good aggregate. And shout out to the coach Beldino Demba, also one person mwenye nime rank sana, and for her kuweza kutufanya tuende AFCON, it's a good thing. It's a good step for our women in terms of how they are growing, they're elevating. Beldino Demba, if you're watching this from here, hapa Alex Ogega from Afriq, shout out to you. Shout out to you for sending the girls to the WAFCON 2026 huko Morocco. I believe watapata experience. I believe they will do well in the group stage, and the one of the ways which we can wage how our women's sports in a grow is by us facing the tougher opponents. Let us go and face the African giants, so that hata kama ni kupigwa, let us face them, let us lose, but let us go there tujue we are putting in efforts trying to elevate. Let us not just play sorry to say this, the weaker sides, and we get happy. Let us also face the big sides, and those are some of the moments that we live for. Even though those are some of the memories that we cherish, even when you retire. Those are the things we treasure. So I'm expecting our Harambee Starlets to do well in the competitions. Shout out to Berlin Odemba hapo. Kochare, I thank you so much. Thank you for kutuweka kwa hiyo position, and also shout out to Mwanalima. Mwanalima ni mtu nimerank sana kwa when it comes to football hapo ya madem, and hopefully all will be well, and my expectation for the women in the upcoming game is that they shall be able to at least get past the group stage, and the round of 16 from the quarterfinals to onwards. If we get knocked out, hiyo sitasikia vibaya, but at least, even if it's for the start, for us to make a statement in the WAFCON, let us go and get past the group stage, a round of 16, so that from the quarters, semis, and finals, if we get knocked out, not bad. But let's make a statement in the upcoming WAFCON. And also, I would also like to send a message to the FKF that in as much as we are putting efforts trying to revive the revive our men's national team, let us also push for the starlets, because starlets wanna perform better than the stars. So if we can put at least more effort to support our madem, then I think we will be well, and I think hata tutakuwa further, not only just as the starlets but as a country, and maybe huko ndo nyota yetu iko huko kwa wasichana, so let us push there, tuone kama how they will do. But for me, I believe with good amount of support, our Harambee Starlets can do well in the competitions. So shout out to them hapo for the win hapo against Gambia for an aggregate. Yeah, that's something, because it's very hard to see our men's national team imefunga bao nne against a side. So for us to be able to beat Gambia, all for doing well, and nimewarank tu sana, and without wasting much time up also, there is more also hapo about the basketball games hapo, and nimepin hapo my lower thirds hapo what is happening, but also let me also welcome somebody hapo, Carson, on the platform. Carson, karibu sana Afriq 24, karibu sana.
Asante.
Okay, Carson, umekuja kwanza kama I was discussing something hapo, and I don't know
Yes.
whether but the Harambee Starlets qualify for the 2026 WAFCON that is set to happen in Morocco, and Beldino Demba hapo as the head coach hapo amefanya mambo yake. The team was able ilipiga Gambia, and the aggregate was 4-1, and shout out to Mwanalima Adam, brilliant hapo player. I think it was the player who scored the goal. So, Carson, what do you think? What do you think our women's national team is doing different from our men's national team? Because our women's national team in represent better than the men, despite the men are getting more of the attention and more of the support.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Alex, for the opportunity. In my view, and either in my opinion, I want to say that on the men's side, I think since the boys started playing the CHAN, when they were motivated and either remunerated, they were able to deliver good results. They were able to win. But definitely, the World Cup qualifiers, the game against Gambia, the boy lost, and they lost pathetically, and they at home. So it shows that football in our country is not more of passion, but more of transactional purposes, more so on the male gender and the male side. And it reminds us of the years 1986, during the times of Joe Kadenge. Those times when they used to play for Kenya, they used to do it with passion. By that time, we used to beat Nigeria. By those times, during the times of Joe Kadenge, they were playing for the nation and the badge. They had that passion. They were not transactional. And currently, the men's side, they are transactional. And if you correlate to the women's side, if you just do an analysis on the women's side, ladies are playing with passion. They are playing out of heart. And if you check on the remuneration side, they have not been motivated as the men, and definitely they are delivering the results. We cannot say our ladies are more competitive either as compared to our men with different nations, but it's just about out of passion and out of playing for the nation and for the badge. And I think that's what they're doing, and it trickles down from the coach. Definitely have a coach in a domestic coach
like
in
you
med.
know them.
Yes, and med from Kenya. Like she knows she can deliver. She has the personality of the players. She knows them inside out. Definitely at some point, and either she's there to deliver results. And I think she came out from police, if I'm not wrong, and they were able to win the KPL trophy. So it shows that their coach is also competitive. She has the skills, and being a coach is also about at some point have the lack of winning games, some sort. So she's a coach who has the lack of winning games. Coaches also. The coach you have, if he has luck, you will win. The same way with Ancelotti. Ancelotti never had tactics, but he used to win games. So that's what I can say about our women's side. That's why they have qualified for the AFCON 2026.
Okay, and then still on that Carson, Nini, what is your expectation of them in the 2026 WAFCON yenye inaenda kufanyika Morocco? Uko na expectations gani kwa hao madem Starlets?
Okay, definitely, definitely. My expectations, I expect more about them, definitely, and I know if at all they'll have good motivation and good remuneration, they'll deliver results. And if at all our viewers and either us personal Alex, we won't impregnate them, they'll deliver. I'm sure they'll deliver. That's what I can say about them.
Okay, asante sana hapo Carson. Wonderful remarks. And without wasting much time, we have to also react to some few games zenye zimefanyika jana. Yesterday tulikuwa na Carabao Cup games, and they are starting to take some bit of shape hapo. And yesterday hapo tumeona Liverpool wamepigwa 3-0 by Crystal Palace, and Slot chose to rotate the squad, and he put out a squad yenye ilikuwa it's like more of the, let's say, some of the second squad and some of the academy players ndio walikuwa wamewekwa wacheze, and Palace hawakulalisha. Palace put three past them. Ismail Assar is becoming a thorn to Liverpool hapo. But for now, I think the pressure is piling for an slot, because on the weekend he's playing against Aston Villa. Aston Villa is coming in hot. In the Champions League, they have Real Madrid, and they have Man City around the corner. So the question is, Carson, is Ancelotti going to survive, or this guy is getting sacked? Because the amount of results he's getting is not as per Liverpool standards, and with the amount of money that they have spent, they will be having a lot of expectations. They will be expecting themselves to compete for the titles, and as of now, they are winless in a couple of matches. So. What is going wrong up on Liverpool? Because Ancelotti is the pressure is piling on him.
Okay, what I can say about Liverpool, Liverpool at first is a big club, Pale Europe, and what I can say definitely Ancelotti, for now he's having his own team. He's trying either to fix his own players. He's trying to erode away with the club's either playing style, structure, and either system. And if you can check on the few games he has lost, and definitely the loss is piled up and either is contributed by the defense line of Liverpool. Definitely, for the couple of games, we've seen Virgil committing a mistake after a mistake each and every game, and either being a captain. Definitely, and to me, I don't see him staying because over the weekend, the best results he can get, he can either get a draw or either even lose again because per now, the structure of the team, the competitiveness, at some point, you cannot buy Frimpong, then you play Soboslai, the right back. It cannot work that way and expect you to win. At the same time, you cannot bench Robertson over Kekes
Okay.
and expect you to win because Kekes is good at attacking wise, but defensive wise, that boy is poor. For instance, you see Virgil van Dijk nowadays, his work is only twerking on the field, and definitely it's affecting them. At the center back, you see, once you're a center back, a main key player, your character is about working each and every game, committing each and every error. Even legends are noting it. I think Virgil needs to be benched, despite being a captain. He needs to be benched. They need to play even Gomez or either any young player who can play that central position for him to come to fitness again and restructure on his side. At the same time, you check on their midfield, McAllister is not consistent. At the same time, he's not delivering. At the same time, the coach is trying to fix the players he has purchased. For instance, Florian Wirtz, he's not in good shape. He's not even better than Curtis Jones. But just because he was bought those amount of money, they must bench Curtis Jones for Florian Wirtz to play. They must fix Soboslai to play on the right back so that they can fix Florian Wirtz to play in the midfield position. When you check of the attacking wise, Gakpo is good. He's on good form. But Salah, his form definitely is lost. But I know he's a classy player. Once he starts scoring, he'll be on a good shape. Then Isaac has become a tourist per now. Isaac cannot score goals. He cannot score goals per now. He has become a tourist, and definitely because the amount of money they bought him, and either maybe the contract they need to sign, it makes them to play Isaac. But for me, I prefer Kitike on the form he is to start for that number 9 in Liverpool. That is my opinion, so that it gives Liverpool an allowance that Isaac restructures, it becomes competitive for him to come and contest for that number 9 again. Those are my views. But for me, Anslot, I see him going home. I see him going to cook for his family, and either if he has cattle, to rear cattle, because that job is bigger for him. It's getting tough and tough.
Okay, asante sana hapo Carson, and yesterday tumekuwa na so many games zimefanyika hapo, and this is how the quarterfinals line up. Arsenal against Palace, Chelsea, Cardiff, City, Brentford. We also have Newcastle against Fulham, and also kuna shida hapo yenye inafanyika Carson huko Spurs, because in this month of November they have very very big fixtures coming up, and they have dropped vital points hapa at this point hapa. So you can they have Chelsea. Then in the next games kuna very big fixtures inafuata in November, and they have not been doing well. Yesterday walienda St James's Park, and St James's Park is very hostile for them, because there they don't pick 3 points. The best at 1 point they don't pick 1 point. So but yesterday wampigwa 2-0, and Nick Woltemada with a head apple, and Fabian Shaw also with a goal, and Kaso, what is going wrong for Thomas Frank? Because Apple walitoa big Ange, but it still seems like they have the same challenges.
Okay, definitely I never watched the game, but definitely I've watched some of Tottenham games. Definitely attack wise, that team I think it has a good force in the attacking side. They brought in Kolomwani. On the right side, they have Kudus, who is good. On the left side, they do use sometimes Johnson, sometimes uh, Richarlison either at the center. So the attacking wise, they have a good force. At the midfield, they have a good player. There's a PM Sar, who is very good. He's energetic. He has the synergy to play from box to box. He's a box to box midfielder. He can tackle. He's good at either ball handling. And definitely they added on, they had either an add-on of either Palinya, who came to strengthen their midfield, and either there's this guy, Bentaku, who is good. And definitely for me, let me just say at some point, if you have such characters in your team, such a character of players in your team, it dawns on you that unless you're a clueless coach, or rather you don't have those tactics for those players to fit in, to perform as required, or rather the structure and system is affecting some of the players in that on that field, or rather when they are facing opponents. When it comes to the their center back Alex, they have a nice center back. Imagine you have Romero and either Van de Ven. That is a solid center back. When it comes to aerial ball, Van de Ven is good. When it comes to ground duels, you cannot pass Romero. And Romero is a ruthless, aggressive defender. And at one point, you see Real was either having that hunger to have Romero because he's competitive and either good on that position. When it comes either to their right back, they have one of the best right backs, Pedro Porro. Like once either is running over the line, he delivers nice crosses. Mata set pieces is good. They have a good goalkeeper. So for me, I see Tottenham as nice players. What I can say, the tactics and either the system of the coach is not making the players to fit in and either play a good football, because you can have good players, but you don't know how you can manage them as the manager, come up with a system, a structure of play, and either a pattern of play that suits them to perform and either deliver results. And it comes on matters attacking. How are you going to attack for you to score and win matches? And we cannot say Tottenham is at a level of Real Madrid whereby Ancelotti used to dwell on individual brilliance. We cannot say Tottenham are towards that level. They don't have that individual brilliance unless the back line and maybe the central part. The center back, Romero is brilliant, Van de Ven is brilliant, and there they have a brilliant goalkeeper. But if you have a good defense and they are not scoring, it shows your structure and either how you play your football at the midfield is a problem, because you have the good strikers. For instance, when this left-footed guy, when will come from injury, he's a good guy. This left-footed guy. Definitely, you have Johnson, you
Kulusevski.
have Colomwani. Yes, Kulveski, you have Kulveski. You have this left-footed guy. You have Madison. You cannot tell me you will fail to deliver results when you have those. I cannot say they are classy players, but let me say they are average players. Of which, if they are coached and either managed and either pass through a good system, they can be classy players. A person like Madison, if not at all injuries, he can be a classy player. Akina Kulveski, they can be classy players. So for me, I think Thomas Frank is about his tactics, techniques, structure of play, and either how they train their players on how they are going to attack and either how they are going to play. That is a problem with the team.
Okay, Santa sana hapo Carson. And also, people might not know this, but Arsenal have gone 32 years without winning the Carabao Cup. And this season hapo wako in the quarterfinals playing against Crystal Palace. Still wanaichezea hapo Emirates, and they got a 2-0 win over Brighton. So my question to you, Carson, is this the season that Arsenal breaks the curse? Because people might not know this, but they have gone 32 years without winning the Carabao Cup. So is this the final season that Ateta breaks that curse?
Okay, for me, the other day, as I said, As a team, you cannot depend on either one technique or either one tactic for you to win matches. And the other day, I'll either reiterate what I said the other day. If they are told they are going to play that quarterfinal or either contesting for that Carabao, for me, I just see it's like they are daydreaming. I'm not seeing them winning. I'm not seeing them winning any Carabao Cup. If at all, they have strikers like Guy Corres. Guy Corres, I do say I can refer to him. He's more of a tourist. He came to Arsenal either to see how wildlife survive in the park, definitely. At least they can see how Walter Med is doing. Walter Med is doing as a striker, what he does when he receives the ball. So definitely for me, I don't see them winning the Carabao. And there we have Chelsea. You see, Chelsea plays dirty football, matters a tournament. They win. They play dirty football, but their intention is to win the trophy. And that's how a tournament is played. You cannot come with that Arteta's football style of passing, and either looking for a corner for you to play that corner and score. You cannot. That's not how a tournament is played. That's a different structure. How to play a tournament and how to play a league. So for me, it's not a team fit to play a tournament. They cannot win Carabao. I'm telling you, you can take this in your bank. They cannot win that Carabao Cup because they don't know how to play a tournament. And that's why I give Chelsea credit. They know how to play a tournament. They'll play that ugly football. Even that day, you'll see Colwill tackling and that even Chaloba. They'll be tackling very hard, which they've never done. And that's how a tournament is played. And you see that day, that Joao Pedro will be scoring goals. But when it comes to the league, he won't score any goal, neither have any shot on target. So it's about playing the tournament and either differentiating with the league. For me, Arsenal, they won't win it. I think they will win the second time of Baba when he comes back. The second coming of Baba. That's what I can say.
Okay, asante sana for Carson, and we'll still be discussing Apple. We'll discuss the Man City versus Swansea game hapo. We'll still discuss it, but discuss tukiendelea na predictions hapo, and so we dive into the straight into the predictions as we discuss the Carabao games hapo. Also, talk about the Liam Delap red card, and Jala, thank you. I see in the comment section hapo, and tutapatana Sunday hapo majaliwa. So let us put some predictions hapo za this weekend hapo. We have Nottingham Forest up against Manchester United, and United wamekuwa poa. They have picked up 3 wins in a row for the first time hapo under Ruben Amorim, and this time hapo they are going away playing against Nottingham Forest, and Nottingham Forest wako na issues mingi sana hapo, starting from their owner hapo Marinakis ako na kiburi sana, and they fired recently Big Ange. Right now wako na Sean Dyche. So Sean Dyche, I think the big reason why they brought him is because wanahitaji a manager bounce so that they can get some wins and be able to survive so that they don't get relegated. And this weekend wanakuja kupatana United, na ni United ambayo inajidiscover form. Mbumo is scoring goals for fun, ndio anaanza kujipata, and Bruno also is trying to create well, and Kuni also is finding his feet. So United wanaanza kuja vizuri, and this weekend they're traveling to play against Forest. So if you had to ask me, I'm banking on a United win, and because Forest wanachezanga vizuri partially. Let me say that they have good spells, but they don't maintain it for long parts of the game. So me would go with a 2-1 win for United away. Kaso unaonaje hiyo game?
For me, I can predict I'm a Manchester United fan. And definitely, of course, we win when we want. And definitely, despite having a good form, Alex, it cannot give us the latitude to say definitely we might win. For me, as you said, with that formation, with that 3-4-3, when it comes down that they beat that 4 people, then we'll be finding the ball at the back of the net. So with that formation, if you don't have a midfield that runs like mad dogs, then it comes down that you must concede goals. So with me, I'll go for a 3-1.
3-1 for United. Away.
3-1 for United.
Okay, and we also have Liverpool against Aston Villa, and inachezwa hapo Anfield, and so Liverpool hapo after the 3-0 loss hapo in the midweek, and despite this guy ana slot kutoa hapo excuses that Chelsea and sides like City have big squads, and akasema he doesn't have a big squad. This weekend is facing a tough task because Aston Villa wako on a resurgence, ndio they're finding themselves. So weekend hapo they beat City, and Donnarumma hapo, it's not easy to score against Donnarumma, but they did, and they picked up 3 points. And this week they're playing Liverpool, and Liverpool wameonyesha Anfield they can lose, and but we don't know what to expect from them this weekend. They might turn up and choose to pick 3 points. But for me, I'll still stick for a 1-0 win for Villa. Now, Carson.
For instance, the best they can get is a draw. The best they can get is a draw. But for me, I see, I see, a, I see. Let me say it's a goal, but they'll have a Liverpool will have a win of 2-1.
2-1 to Liverpool win Apple. And we have Tottenham versus Chelsea. And I think this is the big game Apple weekend in Saturday 8:30. And Tottenham versus Chelsea. And the good thing about this game, speaking as somebody who supports Chelsea, is Chelsea always stands up against Spurs. Whether they're on good form or on bad form, they always stand up when they're playing against the Spurs. And it doesn't really matter the ground, whether they're playing at Stamford Bridge or White Hart Lane. They always stand up against Spurs and they pick 3 points. So for that reason, that's the only reason that I will back Chelsea playing away. And naweza wapea 2-1 win because Thomas Frank is too defensive, so atakazia sana. And Chelsea right now as it stands, defense ya Chelsea is very very poor because kama tuliona game ya Wolves in the second half, the defense collapsed. Actually, the third goal that they scored hapo, it was a defensive disaster class from hapo Achiampong and the likes of Tosin Adarabayo. So there's a very very big issue na defending ya Chelsea, and also the lap red card. I think the lap is immature because the guy hasn't played for about I think 2 or 3 months. Yeah, kitu kama 2 months, and then when you come back and you collect a red card on your return. He didn't even finish 45 minutes and received a red card. And the second yellow card, he did it deliberately. Yo, the hand of hiyo ilikuwa very
Yeah,
deliberately, and it's like he wanted to collect that red card. So that's very very mature of him to do that. But I'd still back Chelsea because of the good record. Kaso unaonaje hiyo game?
Chelsea will win. Chelsea will win. Chelsea will win, and definitely I've said according to history, you will win. Uh, because of the defense, I think, or either I can predict you must also be scored. Can give it a 2-1 also, but
Okay,
you'll win.
Santa Carson. And to move on swiftly hapo, we have Crystal Palace playing against Brentford. And this is going to be a good one because Brentford wamekuwa wakicheza poa, and shout out to their coach Keith Andrews. Keith Andrews is doing good job, and these people they have lost crucial players, Mbumo, Wisa, and I think about a year ago they also lost Ivan Toney. They lost Christian Nogard. They have also lost their coach wao huyu Thomas Frank, but Keith Andrews ameingia, and they're doing well. Kevin Shada hapo amepata chance now to play in the starting 11 consistently, and Damsgaard hapo midfield anaguza poa, and their super striker hapo Igor Thiago stepping up very well. But this weekend they are playing against Palace. Palace ni side ambayo iko poa sana. Ukiangalia hapo watu kama kina John Philip Mateta hapo good number 9, Ismail Assar, kina Kamara, Mark Gehi, those guys hapo wako poa, kina Lacroix wamesettle vizuri sana kwa hiyo system ya Oliver Glasner. So this is going to be a difficult one, and I'm seeing a draw. I'm seeing a draw between the two because it's a good game. But if it's not a draw, I think Oliver Glasner can win it because he's at home. Unaje cast on your game.
I also can predict a draw definitely because Crystal Palace last weekend they lost to Arsenal. So they might it's either a draw, or either they rejuvenate themselves. Either a draw of either 2-2, or either they'll come above a game of either 3-2 or either 2-1.
Okay. 3
That's my
2 or
prediction.
either the 2
2-1
1. And we
or a
also
draw.
have Burnley playing against Arsenal. And I think this is an easy win for Arsenal, Apo, despite them being away. And I think the Arteta will still play his ways up defensively. Then Apple they can get one or two set piece or the long throws, and I think this will be an easy win for Arsenal. So as I say, 3-0 Arsenal. What about you, Carson?
Definitely also is that's like that's just a walk in the park. They just win. I think they'll win over 2 goals. Over 2 goals.
So Apple over 2 goals for Arsenal, and we have Apple the we have Brighton versus Leeds. Brighton are for home, and at the Amex they will be looking to bounce back. But also Leeds is a good side, wanacheza poa sana, and you can see the tactics zao ziko point that they are not afraid to push upfield, they're not afraid to press, and wanna create vizuri, and they can cause you some sort of problems. They're up against Brighton, and Welbeck hapo super striker hapo mbele scored a free kick against United, and this is going to be it might look like an easy one for Brighton, but haitakuwa rahisi. So Brighton against Leeds, but I will back Brighton for the fact that they're at home. I'll back them to get at least a 2-1 win.
I'll, definitely they'll have a home advantage at first, and despite Leeds playing a good football, and they're like an Brighton is like an injured lion. They'll rejuvenate themselves through Leeds. Definitely they'll win. It's either 2-1 or either 3-1.
1 or 3-1. And also Apple on Sunday, Apple Carson, there is also a big game, Apple. We have Manchester City playing against Bournemouth, and City got a good win, Apple 3-1 in the Carabao games, and Ryan Chaki hapo got a goal coming back from injury. Mamush also hapo alipata a good goal hapo, and outside that hapo also City, I think hapo they're still hapo, they have a chance in the Carabao Cup, but I don't see them winning, and I don't even see them getting past Brentford. But this weekend hapo they have a good game hapo against Bournemouth, and Bournemouth imekuwa ikicheza poa sana. Iraola is a good coach. You can see Iraola is a tactician, and mind you, last season they lost big players hapo, the likes of Zabani, the likes of Dean Huijsen, Dango Otara, and wamelose watu hapo last season who were key in their team, somebody like Philip Billing, but this season wameendelea poa, wametry kuwa replace Senesi ameingia first 11, Trafford, and watu kina Krupi is doing well, and the difference maker hapo ni Semenyo. Semenyo is making the difference hapo, and also kina Clivert hapo wanashikilia vizuri sana hapo kwa team, and this weekend they're playing against City, they're going away, and they have a chance to extend their second position. They have a chance to work a gap up for points because they're 4 points behind Arsenal, but they can if they beat City watakuwa wameongeza the gap against them, so wabaki kwa title race na Arsenal, and For me, I don't see Manchester City picking 3 points at home versus Bournemouth. Believe Bournemouth can cause some challenges. So for me, I'll go with a draw because I expect Bournemouth to put in a spirited fight against Manchester City, and I'll go for a draw. Kaso unaonaje hiyo game ya Man City na Bournemouth Sunday?
Definitely, for now, as you see, Bournemouth are in a good shape. They're playing nice football, but Man City are coming. They're coming into that game like an injured lion, and definitely they are going to hammer that Bournemouth. It's going to be a game 3-1 because some of the injured players are back. Ryan Chuck is back. Mamouche is back. I see Man City winning a 3-1 or 2-1 over Bournemouth.
Man City 3-1 or 2-1 over Bournemouth. And with that, we have finished with this week's predictions. So before we wrap up the show up, we have to tufunge na some local football kidogo before we go. And Gor Mahia inacheza poa sana kwa ligi. So Carson, do you back Gor Mahia to win the Kenyan League this season ama Kenya Police ita retain?
Definitely Gor Mahia are on a good shape, and they signed good players, competitive ones.
Tuseme Chani yote.
But the whole squad of Chan. But definitely, what I can say, the league is still young, and definitely also police are in good shape. Definitely, they have the higher probability of winning the title for now. But let me say, let them play 3/4 within. We'll know if they come on top. For now, I think they are position 4 or either 3 there. For now. So let us see the 3/4 of the league and either the point difference between either number 1, 2, 3. Then we can give them a benefit of doubt that they're going to win that league.
Okay, and also Carson hapo, nimekuwa nikifuata hizi games hapo and Shabana wameenda winless in 4 games. They drew against Tusker. Then hapo after there wameenda on 3 losses in a row. They even lost to FC Leopards. And FC Leopards hasn't been doing so well. Wamekuwa pia with a very rough patch. But walikuja hapo Gusii Stadium and they picked 3 points. And it's like Shabana without Michira is not really Shabana. So what could be the problem hapo Shabana? Because how comes a team that in the first 2 games was doing well, and some people have predicted that Michira would be the top scorer this season, but he's out for 2 months with an injury, and after him going out with an injury for 2 months, Shabana hasn't been Shabana. The attack has been blunt, and right now they're being exposed. They even lost to FC Leopards. Shida ni gani hapo Shabana, Carson?
Definitely for me, I don't believe one player should affect a team, and if he or she should affect a team, then it shows that a coach is not a tactician; it's just fumbling.
Ukidi.
And definitely it's just fumbling because how is it in order that one player will affect the whole impact of a whole 10 player? It cannot be so. So it shows that the coach is not a tactician. It's just fumbling, definitely, with his technical stuff. And another thing is that I don't expect Shabana to be bottling down. I might expect PS Bomet to battle because they are using local players who have never tasted playing under under floodlights. They have never seen those things. They have been used to playing on the grass and the turf. So for me, APS Bomet, they can bottle. But for me, Shabana, maybe at some point, people say the Gusii people or either the Gusii technicians, maybe they might have been using some magics. So maybe the magics are not working. But for me, I just believe that the coach is not tactical enough. And that is what I can say. The coach is fumbling. and either he's not a tactician. He has no techniques and he has no tactics. There is no system at all. There is no structure. If you can compare to them with the Gor Mahia or rather Gor, how they play, at least you see their football has some sense. It has some sense of sweetness of how you're going to watch it. You feel like a score is coming from somewhere. But for them, uh, they used last season they used to play those long balls, those power play. And for instance, football for Ipana has transformed. You cannot use power play or either one technique alone or either tactic for you to win either title or either compete in a race. I think there is no big difference between Shabana and Arsenal. The only difference is either Shabana starts with an S, Arsenal starts with an A, because they'll also both of them they'll go trophyless. That's what I can say.
Okay, hapo asante sana Carson, and umeamua kuanguka na watu wa Arsenali. But anyway, we've come to the end of the sports show. But if anyone is watching Africa hapo asibanduke, because Tanzania mambo imechemka, and there are many videos tuko nazo hapa kwa platform about the Tanzania, the elections inaendelea, and Tanzania wamegeuka Kenya, wameamua kwenda maandamano, and we have so many videos coming up, and we have a lot hapo kwa politics hapo that will be happening about the Tanzanian elections hapo, and but before we wrap up the sports show so that we can focus on politics hapo, nataka kupatia Carson 30 seconds atupatie his closing remarks ndio tufunge.
Okay. For me, what I can say, Tanzania is still in the 1900 constitution, whereby bludgeoning, mayhem, extrajudicial killings, and either police brutality is either their culture. At first, number one, they should either change the constitution. That's why the other day they're on the street. It was yesterday. They are saying no reforms, no elections, and definitely they are being led by a dictatorship leader who is a mother, and it shows that women, they are an epitome of poor leadership across the globe. A few of them might make to be good leaders, but if you check even in our country, some counties led by women, they are pathetic counties. So it shows that Tanzania, they have come to light that they are living in the ancient constitution, and it's a wake-up call for their Gen Zs and either what they have seen in Nepal, what has happened in Kenya, what happened in Cameroon, what happened in Bangladesh. They saw that they are the ones who are behind. And so definitely for them to change this tyranny or rather despot Idi Amin Dada, or rather that so-called Samia Suluhu, they must go to the streets. And for them, going to the streets is not enough. They need to have a promulgation. They have to structure in a new constitution. Like for us, Kenya, we had to change to have the 2010 constitution. And that's why we have the current freedom. So definitely they need to change the constitution first. And before they change the constitution per now, they need to have an interim leadership so that they structure their IBC system on how they're going to vote. For instance, because I was following today, Samia Suluhu takes an early lead. So it means she was competing against Samia Suluhu without any other person. So they have a long way to go. They have a long way to go. For me, I can say Tanzania have a long way to go. Maybe they'll just continue singing bonga and either having mysteries za kukatia wasichana, but they need a lot to structure that country. And either it's a revolution. And for a revolution, blood must be shed, life must be lost, and they must have people with bravado, icons like Raila Odinga, but definitely don't have Raila Odinga. Unless, for instance, unless we send there Nuru Okanga. Yes, so Tindulisu is inside. So he's either incommunicado. So he cannot say anything. So definitely, let me say Samia Suluhu is Tanzania, is the constitution, is the judiciary, is the executive, is everything. So let me say is a monarchy state. So they have a long way until they change the constitution. until they'll see good leadership, they'll have good governance. And you see, for instance, our country, Tanzania is larger than Kenya and Uganda combined, but their GDP, our GDP is twice than theirs. So meaning they have a long way to go. So for me, they did a good job. I kudos to those Gen Zs and other millennials who are there. But I quite fail to understand how those policemen were shooting them, because in Tanzania, when you face a policeman atakwambia ndugu yangu kuja nikuwekee pingu, but in Kenya you'll be down on your knees crying. So definitely kudos to those Gen Zs and millennials. It's a good job. How I wish they could have banned the state house in Tanzania, or rather the parliament, so that they start afresh, so that they can write a new constitution and promulgate it, and either choose the rightful leaders we want for transformation of Tanzania. That's what I can say.
Okay, asante sana hapo Carson, and also let me big up some few people who are watching me on YouTube. Shout out to you Jalala hapo kwa comment section, and thank you for joining us. If anyone is watching us on Facebook, consider subscribing to Afriq 24 hapo. There is a link that is put there hapo, so that you can join Afriq 24 on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, and we are always live 7 days a week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Tunakuanga live doing football, doing politics hapo. And if you're watching me on X, shout out to you. Consider subscribing to Afriq 24, so that unaweza pata chance ya kuhear hizi conversations each and every time that we are live on air. And to anyone hapo, thank you Carson for joining me tonight hapo to do the football predictions. And we shall meet up on Sunday for the post-match analysis. But as for now, we shall be following the live chat hapo kwa group hapo on the games and weekend. But outside that hapo, shout out to you Carson, tukutane on Sunday.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.